Hey friends, happy Wednesday. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're all having a good week. It's the first week of January, so hopefully like that good energy is still vibing of, all of this just kind of like fresh energy, right? Like there's just this feeling of new with the new year, and maybe we have some new habits or whatever. So hopefully that's rolling for you. So I said we were going to talk in January. Each week we're going to set a new good habit. So taking like simple, easy, practical steps adds up to big change. So making, like one big change can be really hard, but doing these like simple, easy things makes it a little bit easier. I've read stuff where like, setting habits that take like less than 2 minutes or less than 10 minutes or like these little like micro habit changes are so much easier, and we can stick to them, and they build this momentum for good change. So that's what we're going to do in January. Each week we're going to set one new habit, and maybe yours aren't exactly like what mine are, it doesn't have to be, we can have some variation here. You don't have to do exactly what I do. But we'll build throughout the month a bunch of new great habits to get us some momentum rolling through the year. So a lot of times I know I've tried setting resolutions in the past, and long before the end of January they've already fallen flat. So hopefully by doing this throughout the whole month, it really like sets us on that good course. So today's video is called Make Your Bed. And I mean, if you're not doing that already, legitimately make your bed. No variation on this habit for you. Like, get out of bed in the morning. First thing you do, make your bed. I promise you it will change your life. It sounds so silly. If you already do this, you know what I'm talking about. But I'm dead ass, you guys. I'm not lying to you. This is your first habit. You get no choice in the matter. If you're not already doing this, get out of bed, make your bed. I started doing this a long time ago. It is the first thing that I do when I get out of bed. There is nothing better than crawling in to a made bed. Like, think about it. That day when you like wash your sheets and you put new sheets on the bed and you really make it like extra, because I don't make it like super nice every day, but like that day when it's just crisp, new sheets and new blankets, how good is crawling into bed at night? It just feels amazing. So it's like that every day if you just make your bed. And like, it's super easy. I get out of bed in the morning, the covers go this way. I get up, they go that way. I go pee, I come back, I straighten it up a little bit. When the dog gets out of bed, it's done. It takes seconds, and it seriously changes my whole day. And then every time I walk into or by my bedroom, it just looks better in there. And no matter what else happens, you got something done. You like did something productive for you to make you feel better and to make your day better by making your bed. So if you just like I do, first thing you do, you accomplish something. So like your day can only get better from there. Like, you can't fail for the day. You did something. All right, so there's my lecture on making your bed. But let's talk about why, and if you are already doing this, some other stuff that you can do. So our physical space represents our inner space, right? So if we have a lot of clutter and a lot of mess around us, our mind is going to be kind of cluttered and messy, and they kind of work with each other. I think they just feed into each other. There's not necessarily like one made the other happen. I think it's just like this constant push and pull, this constant feeding of one or the other. But sometimes it can be a lot easier to deal with things in our physical space than in this space, right? Our headspace can be really difficult to deal with. So and this kind of comes back to like making our bed, right? So if we're dealing with our physical space, it is going to reflect in a calming of our internal world, of our emotions and our mental space. Because like I said, that cluttered outer space is going to have like that cluttered inner space. when, you know, there's a reason that minimalism got so popular. You know, when you look at those crisp, clean spaces, they can be very calming, right? Because they're calming to the mind, because there's not a lot of clutter. You can really like see everything and appreciate it. You know, as you look out around the room, like you can appreciate each little detail. So, you know, our mind does like that cleanliness, that space. So if we're just looking out and we're seeing, you know, that unmade bed and a sink full of dishes, I'm so guilty of that, or these tasks that need to be done, it creates like more stress and more anxiety. And then you're worried like, oh my God, I have to do, you know, like it's just this stress in your mind. And we might not even realize that the stress is happening in the mind. It's kind of like this background current that's running of like stress and worry and anxiety that's just there all the time. So if we start to make these little habits, just things that we do, we start to lessen the stress. There's a lot of articles and write-ups about like CEOs and really successful people that like wear the same clothes every day, because there's like decision fatigue, you know, so you don't have to think about it. You just get up, you grab your favorite shirt, your favorite pair of jeans, you're out the door. You know, and they eat the same foods every day. Routine is something else we'll talk about this month, and the importance of that. So I'll kind of save some of the meat for that. But, you know, just simplifying, streamlining, and cleaning up your outer life can have a big impact on what's going on inside. And if we start to settle that down and find some balance, it's going to help us in those bigger changes that we want to make. So, you know, your goal this year might not be to make your bed. You know, you might have some much bigger goals and resolutions and dreams planned out for the year. And I get it. So do I. But we got to start small, right? We start with these small little habits and create that peaceful space with which to work from, both, you know, in here and in our world. You know, if we want to like get shit done, if you want to boss up this year and do shit, you're not going to do it if you're not making your bed. It's just that simple. You know, it's a domino effect. We gotta have a foundation of which to work. So starting with that foundation is where we need to be. So something else. So let's talk about, if you're already kind of making your bed, you're already kind of doing some of this stuff, like what, you know, maybe you're thinking, what's in this for me, Marlena? What am I going to do this week? So there's this really cool concept of like the 2-minute rule. So if something's going to take you less than 2 minutes, just do it right now. Don't put it off. And if you start to think about your habits and things that take place during the day, how many things do you do that you put off that you could do in less than 2 minutes? And like they're pinging in my brain right now just saying this. Like, I live alone, right? So if I eat dinner, it's, you know, like a plate, a cup, a fork. If I just washed it, it would take like 30 seconds. But I hate doing the dishes, so I put it in the sink, and then tomorrow's dishes go in the sink, and then by tomorrow night I have a sink full of dishes, and now I'm mad because now I like have all these dishes. But if I would have just washed that plate, it would take like 30 seconds and it would be done. You know, maybe every day you bring the mail in and it's like, you know, it's mostly junk, right? Nobody gets mail anymore, and maybe throw it on the table. And then at the end of the week, you have this whole pile of shit that you have to go through and clean up and sort and now put away. But if you would just do it every day, because it's less than 2 minutes, it's done. And then you don't have this big task. And maybe you're kind of seeing that theme too, where these things start to nag on you, right? You're going to stare at that pile of mail all week, and all week you're going to think to yourself, oh, I got to deal with that. Oh, I got to deal with that. Oh, I got to deal with that. Same thing with those dishes. Every time you walk by the sink and there's that plate and that fork and then that other plate and then that other fork, like, oh, those dishes. And it's creating like this weight and this stress that's taking away and draining your energy from all that shit you want to boss up on. So if you're already kind of doing a lot of this stuff, you're making your bed, your space is pretty clean, try the 2-minute rule. Think about places in your life where you could start implementing that, where you're not already. What are those little things that are nagging at you? Or maybe think about some big decluttering projects for this month. So I did Project 333 a few years ago, cleaned out my closet. So life-changing. It was amazing. I highly recommend it. So, you know, maybe you tackle a big decluttering project. You know, if generally on your day-to-day, you're pretty good about keeping the house clean, you're not like me with a sink full of dishes, you kind of stay on top of stuff, maybe you need to declutter something and think about that. Or like I said, just this 2-minute rule. You know, we all have something that like we put off, and I put this down, I'll deal with it later. I mean, once upon a time, I had like a whole room in my house of like 2-minute stuff. We just had this like spare bedroom that didn't get used for anything, and it was the place where, you know, when you cleaned up for a party, you didn't really know where something went, you just put it in that room, and it just went in that room and died. So it was an entire bedroom of like 2-minute rule stuff, and if I would have just found a space for it, then it would have been put away. But then it became this like door that got closed, and nobody ever wanted to go into the 2-minute room. So you know, this is all just about reflecting on where we're at and looking at our habits and where we can change them. No harsh judgments. You know, maybe you just kind of think to yourself and laugh now sometimes. When you walk in your house with your mail later today, you're gonna 2-minute rule, and just I come in the house with the mail and go directly to the garbage can and just stand over the garbage can and open it all and throw it out, because that's what, I mean, most of it doesn't even get opened. And then it's done, and I never have to think about it again. But so there's my spiel. We're over 10 minutes because I can't keep it short. I don't know how. But yeah, there's my spiel. So that's our first habit for the week, you guys. Make your bed. If you're not making your bed, if I didn't make it clear in the beginning, make your bed. It'll change your life. And tell me about it. I want to hear about it. After like a week of making your bed, I want to hear about how great everything is. Drop me a comment. Drop me a message. And yeah, and tell me what your other habits are. If you're already making your bed, what are you doing? What's your new little daily habit going to be? You know, maybe it's the mail, or maybe it's the dishes. Maybe mine should be the dishes, since I already make my bed. You know, so let's share your habits. I'd love to hear about it. Maybe we can encourage each other and share some ideas. But pick one simple task every day that takes less than 2 minutes, that can be as life-changing as making your bed. So if you're already doing that, you know how that feels. So same level. And let's do it, you guys. Let's rock this week. And next week we'll add one more thing. Also, you know, quick stuff. And we'll keep going from there. So have a great week, everybody. And I will see you all next Wednesday. And don't forget, join me for class on Zoom tomorrow at 4 o'clock and Saturday at 9. Bye, guys.